Hey everybody, last week's show was so informational from our good friend Justin Sofa that we had so much good tips and great ways to catch giant perch. We made another YouTube show out of it. I'll tell you what, you need to check out all these secrets. This guy has got it. You know, like most of the clients that you get come to Gogebic here and they want to catch that giant perch. And you know, obviously we talked about this yesterday a little bit with Tim, and we talked a little bit about with you, is that this lake is known for giant perch. I want to know why. Why do these perch, out of all the lakes in Wisconsin, all the lakes in Michigan, why is it this lake that produces absolutely giant perch?
It's just a real fertile lake. There's a lot of mayfly larvae in here, and they don't have to exert much energy to eat the larvae. So they can just slow around. They're not chasing down schools of minnows. They're just going around and picking bugs out of the mud.
Right.
So they're not exerting energy, and it just gets put, everything they eat just kind of stays in, and it makes it a little bit tougher to fish, because you know, you get guys that come up and they're fishing really fast like you do when you're on a minnow bite, but these fish, because they're eating bugs that don't move very fast, you just got to work your baits really slow. Not saying you have to dead stick everything, because we do catch them jigging with spoons. You just have to work them really light.
Okay. So let me ask you this, you know, again, when you think about like coming here on this lake and catching these big perch, have you seen the cycles go up and the cycles go down, as far as, you know, like everybody wants a 15-inch perch. Like I'm sure that's what, when they hire you, and their goal is to get a 15-inch perch. But realistically, like, you get a lot of perch that are 14 inches that still weigh what?
We get them that are up to 2 pounds.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, when you start thinking about that, you pull a perch that is 14 plus inches out of the hole and it's 2 pounds, I'll tell you what, it looks like it's a 16, 17 incher, because that's a giant perch. And you sent me a picture yesterday on the way up here, and one of your clients was holding one of them 14-inch plus perch, and I thought for sure it was 16 inches.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're big fish.
They are absolutely big fish. So we're gonna pick everything up, and what are we gonna do differently when we move to the next spot? Though right now we're in about 8 to 12 feet of water.
Yep.
Are we gonna be fishing deeper or shallower?
Yep, we're
or
gonna
what?
slide out to the mud flats.
Okay.
That's where all the bugs are, and that's, as the winter goes on, that's where those fish push out of. As you've seen on some of these tip-ups, there are still some perch roaming around in here. As the winter goes on, these fish are gonna slowly push out of these weeds and then work their way out into the mud flat, and then they'll stay there. So when you're in here in the bay, you can catch them on jigging wraps and you can catch them on spoons, because they're chasing minnows around just like the walleyes are.
But once they get out on the mud,
once they're in the mud, it's slow motion. Everything slows down, dead sticks. Still use spoons, and there's days where they'll be real aggressive, and they'll let you know right away. You know, if
you can just tell by the temperament.
And they just come flying in.
Woo, that's a tank right there.
It's a nice perch.
That's a real nice perch right there. We haven't even moved yet, you guys, to the mud, out to the mud yet. And I'll tell you what, you know what? When do you decide to move? When the fish stop biting?
Right, yeah.
Right?
I mean, I had 2 or 3 come in, and this one finally
committed,
decided to eat.
Yeah, that's a nice fish. Hey, Justin, let's talk a little bit about that. Why did we just release that big perch?
It's real important to let those genetics of the bigger fish in, and not just the genetics, but they hold healthier, larger eggs.
Okay.
So the bigger the fish, obviously the more eggs are in there.
Right, even though there is a law up here as far as the regulations are concerned, you can keep out of your 25 5 over 12 inches. But most of the big fish, when you're guiding people, you try to talk them into letting them go.
Yep, and like that fish Tom just caught, that fish is getting really close to its prime. So that's got a couple of really good spawning years in.
Okay.
And it's just nice to let those go and do their thing.
How old would you say a fish like that is? Any idea?
My guess that fish is probably 4 to 5 years old.
Okay, that's it, huh?
Yep.
Just a lot of it's the genetics of the giant like that. We're gonna move probably about a mile and get out into that flat, like Justin was saying, and we're gonna set up some deeper water, anywhere from like 26 to 28 and 29 feet of water, and it's gonna be big perch time, so you guys hang on to your heinies. Hey Justin, let's kind of talk about the rigs that we're using today. Of course, you know, wigglers are the prime bait up here. We talked about that a little bit before when we were still walleye fishing, but what's the deal with a jaw jacker? Why can't you just come out here with regular tip-ups and run regular tip-ups? Why aren't they as effective as a device like a jaw jacker? Like last time we came here and fished too, I tried tip-ups, my favorite tip-ups, and I caught one or two, and they didn't even come close to what was coming off of the jaw jackers.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, once these fish come out into this basin, they're only hunting bugs, and bugs are really easy for them to eat. They just kind of swim around and chew as they're swimming.
Right.
So when they go in and hit a bug or a wiggler or bloodworms, they eat a lot of bloodworms out here. They don't have to like hit it and run. It's just kind of a slow motion thing. So when you have a dead stick out, we use like 4 to 5 millimeter tungsten, sometimes 3 if they're in a mood, and we'll tail hook it just so that wiggler can kind of swim around down there.
Okay.
As natural as it can be. So the deal is these fish bite really, really light.
They just come up to them because there's so much forage down there. They're not aggressive at all.
They'll just kind of slurp it in, and if something doesn't feel right, or if they hear you running towards the rod or something,
they'll spit it
right back out. So one thing we had noticed fishing light ice one year was we were running dead sticks with spring bobbers, and the fish kept hitting them, and they were pulling the rod down, and as soon as you got halfway there,
gone.
The rod would fly back up. So we took out a jaw jacker, tried it out, messed around with some different settings to get them set right, and boom, I was hooking them. And ever since then, I've just kind of been growing more and more on the jaw jackers.
It really increases your percentage as far as the amount of fish you catch on.
There are days when they're really negative. Well, they'll just grab onto that bug and they'll set it off. So sometimes dead sticks still do have their upside.
Okay.
But when you get in windy conditions, this rod isn't moving. It's pinned down, that bait's sitting still. When we'd run dead sticks, sometimes that rod would just be, because you use really soft rods when you use dead sticks.
Yep.
So they'd kind of blow in the wind and move things around unnaturally. So this kind of keeps it nice and still. And
the more natural, the better, you're saying.
And you'll see on days, sometimes we'll run like a number 18 treble and just tail hook it when, typically like during full moons or something where there's high pressure and the barometer's high. We'll really downsize 3 millimeter jigs,
just
small
adapt.
trebles, and just let it sit down there where that wiggler can actually swim around and do his deal. And we'll put them right on the bottom then. When you get high pressure, we'll put those wigglers, we'll put them right down in the mud, because those fish don't want to come up when you have that high pressure.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Wow, this is fun. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, there we go.
Holy shit.
There we go.
Woo!
Oh.
Holy shit.
We were just talking about
holy shit
how we run this, and I saw the rod go off. I'm like,
holy shit.
That looks like a big fish.
That's a big perch right there.
And that is,
look at the size of the belly.
So as you can see, there's a lot of egg in here. Now, if you were to clean this fish, you'd get a strip of meat.
Yeah,
It's just the loin, and then it's all ribs.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice one. Holy man. Congrats on that one. That's a beaut right there.
Beautiful.
Nice job, buddy.
That was awesome.
You were talking last night that February is one of your best months out here.
Yep.
Why is that in February one of your best months? Because it's kind of funny. Even on Lake Winnebago, you guys, some of our best fishing typically comes after the first week of February, right till we can't get out anymore. So it's no different up here then too, huh?
Yep, and I feel like a lot of it is, people kind of shy from February. They like that early ice, they like the late ice.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, late ice when you come out here and it's 50 degrees.
Oh, that's fun fishing, right?
I love it, you come out in a hoodie,
Yeah.
But February, people overlook it, and it can be really good. Some of our highest catch totals come in February.
In February.
Like, I'd say our top 5 fish numbers have all come in February.
So you guys, that's something to definitely think about. Not nearly as big as the one that Chris just caught right there. So let's talk about this. Now look at this, you guys. He's got a double hook system on there, and obviously this one is tight to bottom, and that one's probably, what, 18, 20 inches up?
Yep.
No, so that fish was definitely up a lot higher right there. Is that a pretty common? I mean, that obviously I always think about perch, especially in this deep water, are going to be down tight to the bottom.
As I was saying earlier, when you get days where you have overcast
snow, the pressure,
sometimes they'll be willing to come up off the bottom a little bit, so the pressure's dropping. A lot of times those fish will move up a little bit. So we'll run jigs, you know, 1.5 feet up, you know, 1 to 2 feet, somewhere in that area from each other. And there's days where they shoot straight for that top jig.
They go for the top one. That's interesting. Now, here's something else I want to talk about. In Wisconsin, this would be considered 2 lines because you have 2 hooks.
Correct.
That is not the same in Michigan,
Yep.
right? It goes by the rod.
Yep.
Right, okay.
You are allowed 6 total hooks in Michigan, so you can run 2 hooks on each line.
Hey, so is it common that Chris just caught that giant on that one and this one just went up right ahead of it? Are they in schools, even fish this size? Are they still schooling up tight, or are they smaller individual pods of fish?
A lot of times they're smaller pods.
Okay, that's what I would think too.
When we'll get numbers, like when the rods will pop off several times, it's usually fish this size, those eater fish.
Okay.
The big females, we'll see them in like just little groups of 2. You know, we run different sonars out there, and you'll see them out in the distance, and it's two fish.
You very seldom see like a pod of
Yep.
you know, like 12, 13, 14, 15 inches where there's 20 or 30 in a
Correct.
school. Okay.
It's more of a, you know, the way we describe it is, you know, we'll sit in our Eskimos, and that's like our tree stand, and these are our bait piles out here. So we're waiting for that trophy buck to
Yeah.
come out. We got the does running around and the smaller ones running around, the spike horns. We're waiting for that big buck like Chris just caught.
That was a
come in
big
and-
buck.
You just wait for a noise, and you hope it's not a squirrel.
I know that feeling for sure. We already kind of broke it down already why you use a jaw jacker. Let's show everybody exactly how you set this up.
Yep. So like I said, we'll run the 2 lines.
Okay. And pretty much are all your jaw jacker rods set up with 2 hooks on?
Sometimes we'll vary it up because there are days where they prefer just a single line on there.
Okay.
Like maybe it's too much of a distraction looking at both and they can't decide. We will run at least 2 or 3 lines that just have a single hook, just a single jig or
Just
a
to
single
get a
hook on
feel
it.
for it, huh?
Correct. And then same thing like those high pressure days where we just run 1 treble hook on there, 1 small single hook.
Okay.
Just to slim down the presentation a little bit.
So you're basically just taking a wiggler, right?
Yep.
Looking for the right wiggler, right?
Yep, they got a little frozen when they're in our run around there. We'll just pick them that are curling up. Size doesn't really matter on them. You know, people feel like they got to get the biggest
Well,
wiggler
that's the way
there
I
is.
would always think, right?
But when they throw them up, they're throwing them up this size.
Okay.
So don't shy away from using smaller bugs. So we'll just hook them from the belly, the underside, right through the end to the top.
Just like that.
Yep.
On both hooks, you're hooking
Yep.
hooking them the same way.
Same way, both hooks. So what we generally do is we'll pick them up by the tail, and we want them to sit up. If they can do a sit up,
They're strong enough. So there's actually a liquid in here too, everybody, inside of that bobber, right?
yep.
Now we're using the Vexlar to make sure that we get the wigglers down exactly where you want them. And you got the bottom hook. How far off the bottom?
The bottom hook we usually run about anywhere between 1 to 2 feet off the bottom.
Okay, so you're
Depending
not
on the
super
pressure.
tight. Yeah, depending on the pressure.
Like
No, you've gone over the pressure thing quite a bit.
Yep.
That's a huge thing to remember. Pressure means a lot, especially when you're fishing big basins like this.
Yep. Watch that moon phase. Generally when that full moon comes, you get higher pressure. And I'm not saying what happens during that full moon is you might not catch as many fish, but they're all like that one Chris caught.
That
They're all
tanks.
big fish.
Yeah, that's amazing right there.
This lake is known for the teeter pig. So
The teeter pig, huh?
we go
That's the
hunting for the
first I've
teeter
heard of
pig.
that. I like that.
So the teeter pig is a fish that's so fat you can stand it on its belly and it won't teeter over.
That's a new one for me.
Yep.
Larry, this one's pulling a little too.
Got a good one there, huh?
Taking a little bit of drag.
Okay. He's got pulled. You know, I looked on the other side of that E50 and I thought, what the heck? I know I heard that bell go.
We both heard the same
You
thing.
looked on one side, I looked on the other. On the bottom hook.
Oh no.
Ooh, ooh.
It's close. Oh, it's a decent one. I'm losing drag.
There you go. Ooh, that is a fanny right there. Hold that one up, Tony.
That is a
Whooshka!
beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, I love
Gogebic
this
fish.
stuff. Man. It's just so unique, I'll tell you that.
The colors on those fins too, they're just bright orange.
Yeah. That is absolutely awesome.
I think this one's big enough we should probably let it go.
Oh, I would let that one go in a heartbeat.
Well, we'd like to see that one in March, huh?
Here you go, girl. Nice job. Another one right here.
Double!
So we've got our depth set.
Okay.
So we'll just run the tip of the rod down. Most important thing here, keep your face out of the way of the rod path.
Okay, so don't get...
So you hook that on the finger there, run the line. So what happens is the fish will bite and pull this down.
And it sets
and
the
it's-
hook automatically.
And it releases the rod. So that's all you got to do.
That's pretty simple.
And it's now, let's say you want to take these going brown trout fishing. This is you adjust the sensitivity right here. Right now we have it set as a hair trigger.
Okay.
Because those fish will just come up and mold it. We'll catch bluegills, crappies.
It's that sensitive.
Yep.
Okay.
And you just want that perch to just go up and bump it. You want it to
set off.
Yep.
Interesting.
Put it right in the snoot.
And it's been working pretty dang good.
Yep.
All right, we got that done finally, you guys. Hey, you know what they say? Hang on to your heinies. Hey, I want to thank our good friend Justin Sofa and our good friends from over at Eskimo for joining us this week. What an informational show. Hey, I'll tell you, when you start talking about giant perch, there's only a couple places in the country that you can catch these perch that grow to this magnitude. You definitely want to check out Lake Gogebic. Hey, and it is a great day to be alive, and we got a lot more coming in the future for you.